Hello everybody, I'm Adam from Cadjunkie.
I'm Josh from Solid Smack.
And I'm Dean from Develop3D.
And today I think we are going to be talking about, we want to keep this short today. I want to be done in the next, I'm looking at my timer
minutes.
now, I'm hoping that we'll be done in 15 minutes or less. So I was hoping we could talk through some of these CAD conferences. Just a little bit, high level stuff. Yeah. So, because last week, for those who don't know, or not last week, last month, sometime in the past, I met not only Josh Mings in person, which was momentous,
yes, indeed,
but I also met Al Dean in person, which was horrifying. And so,
nice. It's not the worst review I've had, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Well, so anyway, we've been to all these CAD conferences this year. There's been a whole bunch of them.
It's all a blur.
And I thought we could just talk through it a little bit.
Yeah.
So you're the new boy on the block. What do you make of it all, Adam?
Oh wow. Okay, so I only went to 2.5 really. Yeah, I went to the Siemens PLM World. I went to PTC. What do they call it? PTC.
Planet PTC.
Planet PTC. That's like a pizza place. And then we went to the Solid Edge University. And
was it as much fun as a real university?
I don't understand calling these things university. Anyway. I think it is really interesting to have faces to go along with names of these companies. I think that's probably the biggest takeaway for me, is feeling like these companies are comprised of real people, which in most cases, anyway.
Nice. I think that's my attitude towards the whole thing. I mean, you turn up and in my case, typically we've seen a lot of the stuff before we get there anyway. So
right.
Again, it's about meeting people. And
well, so what do you say? What would you say, Al, to Blake over at Space Claim, who doesn't think that they should have user events because it's just not worth the time?
I think Blake needs to get out a little bit more. Probably would be my reply. And I think I think that would be I think Space Claim University would be quite a marvelous thing. So he needs to get that done. Definitely.
Yeah.
Maybe call it Planet Space Claim.
Planet Space Claim University. Just mix it all together.
Yeah.
All right, well, but you guys
Blake.
also went to Autodesk University. This was technically last year's event, but it's within 12 months of now, in the past. And you also went to SolidWorks World. So, I mean, how do you guys differentiate all these things? Does your life just become a big conference blur?
Yeah,
yes.
It does. It is all a blur, and it's like we talk about it at the next conference. Did this happen at the previous conference? Where are we? Are we at the same thing? Who are you? Am I here? What's going on? It's
well, that was interesting. Seeing a lot of the same people at all these things.
yeah,
And imagine doing that, but for 15 years straight on a constant annual cycle. Which probably
And now we understand why Al Dean is the anomaly that he is.
Anomaly, that's good. Yeah, it's just a constant cycle of seeing the same people 3 months apart, or sometimes 2 weeks apart, in a vaguely different hotel that still smells vaguely of industrial cleaning fluid. It's a strange thing. I quite enjoy it, but it's now become.
What do you get out of it? What's the upside?
You build a better relationship for us it's always difficult because they're typically so far away. So we generally pitch up, jet lag to hell and back, and then it all goes horribly wrong after that. But for us, as we were discussing earlier, it's much nicer just to sit down and talk to people and see their face move when they're speaking to you rather than over a cranky WebEx. It's good. It's a good way to build a relationship, particularly a working relationship. It's just nice. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if we should tell the public this, but Josh has vowed that he's done with CAD conferences. Josh, do you want to defend that decision?
Never again. Never again. After the last one, and I didn't realize where I was after I woke up one morning. I think it's time to stop going. No, I do enjoy going to those, and for the very same reason that Al does. I want to see some new stuff from these companies, though. I want to see them push the envelope a little bit and not be afraid to talk about it. So
what can you give an example of that?
Well, an example of how they're not, or how some are, I guess.
How they could. What would you like if you were talking to one of these, to somebody that's putting together one of these conventions? How would you tell them to make it different?
I would want to see more of what they're working on in the background, and because like Al said, a lot of this stuff is things that we've seen before, and maybe not the users have seen, but yeah. So I would like to see how they're developing new technologies and pushing engineering and design forward. That's what's always interested me about the field anyway. So show the users how that's changing, how their job's going to be easier in the future. Not just.
I think a lot of them are scared of showing too much early anyway. There's a whole bunch of legal restrictions in terms of what they can show, and then that affects revenues realised and that kind of stuff. But I think if the Autodesk guys do a pretty good job of putting the disclaimer up, although they did once have it sung by Elvis.
Well, they have the Autodesk Labs though, which kind of makes a lot of really cool stuff public early on. Yeah, but and I think that's cool.
Yeah, that's a perfect way. But then you end up showing stuff like Autodesk and SolidWorks have shown stuff before, and then it just sort of dies off. You never hear about it again, and then it's left.
But you're making the argument for why they shouldn't talk about it, right? Because it may or may not actually come to fruition.
Yeah, that's why they don't do it, I'm sure.
Well, Al, who puts on the best party?
Yes, what everybody wants to know.
I think I do.
You think you do?
Yes.
The Develop3D event.
Conflict of interest.
Just the endless rolling shower bang. And I have a phone call tomorrow to justify my expenses from my last trip, so it could be the last time that we speak, as I embark my new career as a midnight taxi driver. So
right.
Oh, wait, that's interesting though. So you started putting on Develop3D Live. So what's the experience of putting one of these things together?
Yeah, that's a good
I'll be straight up honest and say that I didn't have a massive amount to do with the last one, other than trying to find some cool speakers to talk about. So Martin,
you do this, you do that. Sit back, relax.
It's more, I think these people will be good to come and talk, and then the rest gets done. I'm sure Martin has a very different view of things, but it's interesting trying to balance. You've got to try and make a little bit of cash out of it, but also you've got to put something on that people are going to turn up to. And doing the first one is horrendously nerve-wracking because you're waiting for registrations, you're wondering how many people are actually going to turn up on the day.
Right.
And until you see people walk in the door, you're pretty much shitting bricks all the way through. So I understand, you look at a lot of these events that we go to and we tend to talk about them quite glibly, but having been involved in organising an event, I've got a massive appreciation for the effort.
Sage wisdom.
Yeah. But I wish they wouldn't go to Vegas. That would be my one thing.
Amen, brother. Amen, brother.
Yes.
God.
Yeah, that's the conference that convinced me never to go.
Right. Josh and I both. I texted him the next morning at as I was getting to the airport at 6 a.m.
Adam's first and last conference.
And it was like, oh my God, brutal. Karaoke the night before, and then a 6 a.m. flight. Not okay.
Never. That's just an amateur move, booking your flight that early the next morning. Because 6 o'clock is, do I stay up? I think you're going to miss the. I mean, me and Martin have done it where we got stuck in Arizona, and we were sat having quite nice, drinking a hot dog by a pool, and realised that our flight was taking off in 10 minutes.
Oh man! But the real thing though is just Vegas is just plain a dirty place. I just feel dirty when I'm there. And I can't wait to shake the dust from my feet when I leave. I know that we're going to get sued by
The Las
by
Vegas
the city
Tourist
of Las
Commission
Vegas.
is going to get a
Yeah,
hold
right.
of it.
But good grief.
A couple of years ago, we tried to we tried to sort of stay off property before the event started, because flying from Europe's always cheaper on a Saturday. So we invariably end up with a weekend free in Vegas, which is just like the worst weekend ever. It sounds ideal, but the reality is it's just horrific. So Greg booked us into this hotel called the Hotel Rumour, and it's worth going just to have a look at. It's like a 70s motel that they've done up as a boutique hotel, which pretty much involves black carpet, black walls, and an occasional bit of purple. And I have never smelt it's got the jacuzzi in the corner of the room that's not shuttered off. And
All right, so we're not going to be doing. So you're not going to be hosting your next event there. You have experience with putting on an event now, or at least some experience. So maybe we should ask you what should these companies do better with these events?
I've never quite got the sales pitch thing. You know, where they get the wheel the executives out, talk about what's coming next, because they've pretty much got the alpha nerds in that room. And, I mean, these people that are quite happy to spend a week in Vegas and about $3,000 of their own cash to sit there and learn about something they've already bought. So I don't get the whole sales pitch thing. It's like, cut that out. You know, you're preaching to the converted, and no one really likes that. That will be the one thing.
That's a really good point.
Yeah,
That's a really good point.
Put the customers on first. We don't really want to see a guy in an ill-fitting suit talking through some PowerPoint slides. We want to see what people do with it. That's the thing that just switches me off, I'll be honest.
Well, that was what was cool about Solid Edge University, because Solid Edge University was definitely a lot more like that. I thought it was much more down to earth. It was definitely a room full of people that make things and that are passionate about making things, and I felt like the people on stage were speaking to the audience pretty effectively.
How big was it? How many people pitched up?
Oh man, I don't want to say the wrong number and get in trouble. But I mean, it was a basketball court size room full of people.
Can we have that in English? Can I have that in
half
metric?
a soccer pitch? Half a soccer pitch? I don't know. You know.
That'll do. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So.
Any other words of wisdom?
Yeah, I'll see Josh in Vegas in November. I can't imagine.
See you there. I'll be there.
Yeah.
Can't wait. Karaoke, let's do it.
Not punk rock being
karaoke is the least of my worries, actually.
Really?
Al and his rum is the main one.
Yeah. I think we'll leave it at that.
A production of EvD Media.